the Charmaine here in our continued series of FIE's behind the scenes costuming. And folks, I have here with me, give me your name, sir.
Andret John, visual artist, sculptor, creative.
Andret, last name?
John is the last name.
Okay, Andret John. So folks, most of the times you see these beautiful faces and sculptures that you see on Bay Street. This gentleman right here is responsible for it. Andret, tell us a little bit about yourself and your history in Junkanoo. And as you can see, he's working on a piece right now.
Yeah. Well, I've been a visual artist now for over 20 years, and a Junkanoo was basically all my life. Junkanoo is definitely a passion of mine. It began on the island of Eleuthera with my uncle, who was the then leader of the Zemis showboat, Walter Cooper, who I always try to give some props to because it was him who, kind of led me into this.
Okay.
So, my history of Junkanoo is very old and as old as I am.
Okay, and so have you've always been into carving, or have you gone into the line to do anything else besides?
Not really. I used to rush. When I began carrying a costume for my uncle in the 70s.
Okay.
And I vowed never to do that again because I almost died,
Wow.
And I completely understand the concept of it being a possession of sorts.
Right.
Because, only the music could carry you, where you're so probably tired or, whatever the case may be. And you won't be able to move without the music.
Right.
So I completely understand, that feeling that you get from rushing. That was my first introduction. Okay. Carving and the other ways in which I express, my creative energy in Junkanoo, happened a bit later.
Okay, so tell us what comes over you when you're doing the carving, because I noticed when you're doing your pieces, you be in your zone.
Yeah, because it's just like any other creative process, I would assume. You get into it and your mind is kind of in tune with your hands and you're trying to bring this image to life, so to speak, in my way. That's, sculpture. So you're definitely in a zone, you're definitely in a creative frame of mind and trying to transmit images, from one place to another, from your head to your hands and to the material that you're working with.
And what I've seen from seeing some of your work, that it's just it feels like you're stepping out of a magazine or a book. It's so real.
Yeah, that comes with years of practice, years of like I say, repetitive, things that you perceive or things that you conceive in your mind, and you bring in those images out. So that's just years of fine tuning, just like a machine. Pun intended.
Right. And so what would you say to a youngster who would want to come into this field?
Definitely pursue it. It connects you to your culture, first of all. So that's a kind of a pillar of your identity as a Bahamian, as a creative. So definitely I would encourage younger people to get into it. The Junkanoo has also led me into, the fine arts. So now I express in many other forms of, material, clay, marble. So it affords you an opportunity to express yourself and to kind of create networks, just be all around creative. And then you're able to, like I say, access different levels of how you could take your career.
Well, thank you so much, Andret, because a lot of persons see the figures and see these sculptures on Bay Street, and sometimes we want to see the face behind that.
Yes, definitely. The behind the scenes is much more tedious in terms of the amount of people and the time that we put into this. So what you're seeing on Bay Street for that brief couple minutes is just months and months of preparation, and what you're doing is a great job, because now you get to delve into the shark life, what we do and how we actually bring these costumes, to the viewer.
Right.
The time, the dedication, the sacrifices that we make.
Right.
So this is definitely a fruitful venture, and hopefully it'll reach the ears and the eyes of people who find it interesting in those young creatives who want inspiration to continue.
Right.
So we could continue this magnificent cultural expression that's like no other in the world.
Right. Thank you so much.
No problem.